Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 MOCs of the Week episode where I get to show you guys the coolest custom creations I happen to see people building in LEGO throughout this last week. As always, there are a ton of links in the description below, links to many more builds than just 10 because 10 is a rather small number compared to the actual number of amazing creations that come out in a 7-day long period, and I highly recommend that you check out the links and let these creators know that you appreciate what they're making. Now this week up in the Webstore, the Fifth Element police car has made it there. Our Friday video was completely dedicated to checking out its closer details, and of course it does scale with David Duperron's Taxi from the same movie. There's also a link to the Webstore in the description, www.brickvault.toys, and I highly recommend you check it out if you want to see some other amazing LEGO custom creations, but ones that actually have build instructions that you could if you wanted to build on your own. Any and all support is of course appreciated, everybody, and without further ado, let's jump into the top MOCs of the week. First up is a build from Know Your Pieces. We have featured other scenes from Vietnam that this creator has put together in the past, and from what I can tell, it looks like an extension, a considerable one, from one of the last vignettes. Now there's two main reasons why I love this build. Number one, the techniques are amazing, the color composition is awesome, everything aesthetically about this build absolutely works. There's creative building techniques for the tiled roofs, the mangled power lines have a lot of life to them. There's lots of different characters kind of all over with traffic and a big old nice looking build for a train. And probably the best single use I've seen so far for the little trigger mechanisms left over from stud shooters. But the number two reason why I like this build is it also has a lot of nostalgia for me. I've spent a considerable amount of time in Vietnam, and this particular area reminded me of an exact spot that I had seen on a road trip. Long story short, I've got an old hard drive in my editing PC that I recently put in, and I actually found the exact clip, the exact spot that this reminded me of when riding through the countryside. So it's not the cows, it's not the goats, it's this spot right here. Now I don't think this is an exact recreation of this area, but this designer certainly knows how to capture an atmosphere from a place that they know and love. Anyways, this build just transported me instantaneously when I saw it, and now let's jump on over to some designers that we've never actually shown off in the top 10 MOCs before. From Jessica Farrell, we have the Dragon's Hoard, comprised of over 7,000 pieces. This is a totally custom dragon sitting on a lot of different gold bricks with some chrome in there, some jewels. I can see a shiny crown, bunch of other stuff, and it's actually a pretty excellent build for a night as well. With some professional lighting and a different camera, maybe you could make off with some very dramatic photos, but that aside, the quality and atmosphere is absolutely here. RGB90 is also a new designer that I had only discovered this week, and recently we've been playing around with some car designs in the studio, or at least designers that we work with have been playing around with some fun designs for cars, and this 2002 BMW has a distinct look that I haven't yet seen anybody be able to capture quite as well as the way this designer does. It's a 5-stud wide build, which already makes it a pretty intricate and difficult kind of model to put together, but the distinctive shape of the front of this model looks amazing. I like that the wheels are turning. Perhaps they're just not studded in, I can't really tell from the baseline of the picture, but it's so distinctive and it absolutely fits within a city scale kind of build. So you could put this on the streets of a minifigure scale city and it would fit right in, so that's really cool. GolPlaysWithLego is up next, an absolutely excellent designer we've been following for quite a long time, and he's got such a distinctive style of build when it comes to a type of speeder or a spaceship, and here I can see some similar features from previous designs while also incorporating some totally unique and brand new stuff I've never seen before, namely the frames of the motorcycle bodies that are touching and facing away make for a wonderfully intricate looking shape in the back, and then the kind of gangly laser cannon that hangs off on several joints in the front juxtaposes the wonderfully smooth and sleek look of the top of the ship quite well. This guy's got a bunch of excellent smooth little designs under his belt. And then moving down to RobsonM, we don't normally show military builds off, at least not very often, but when we do make an exception, it's usually for models that are absolutely amazing, like the Pave Hawk that we're looking at here. It's a modified version of a Black Hawk, which is the more commonly known version of the helicopter, but it's just got so many wonderful features. The proportions look excellent, and I also love to see designers revisiting things that they've put together a year ago or several years years ago and improving upon the old one. That is the case for this particular Pave Hawk design, and I think it was well worth the effort to revisit something that they really liked. When it comes to awesome vehicle building, both military and civilian alike, RobsonM definitely has a photo stream that is worth sifting through. And then this next build, I was totally blown away when I saw the digital render for it. From SimonWild, we have E.C. Henry's Rebel Mystery Gunship. Number one, SimonWild makes some amazing Lego Star Wars and Star Wars inspired creations. Check him out. But E.C. Henry is a YouTube channel that I've been watching pretty consistently for a while now, and I love to see that a Lego designer has put together one of his digital renderings. Basically, there's a lot of Star Wars ships from the original trilogy that are kind of in the background that nobody really knows how good or bad they look from afar because you just don't get to see them very well. And this is one of the ships that was rendered out in spectacular detail, probably looking much better than what maybe the original source model looked like. And now we have a digital render based off of E.C. Henry's design. Sorry, this is just like a lot of nerd meta, but it's an excellent build here, and both a link to this is in the description as well as the original video from E.C. Henry that shows off kind of what I'm talking about. Now, we have never showed off a build from Lego Nuts, but this is one of the better photo compositions and just general build detail vignettes that I've seen this month, this last couple of months. The title is Oops, Sorry, Mr. Olivander, and this is a pretty well-known scene from Harry Potter. I think this is when he's actually choosing his wand, and this is not a wand that is particularly meant for him. He's made quite a mess. Lots of the boxes have come out of the shelves, and something tells me it took a long time for this guy to organize all of these plates and tiles in a way that both looked neat and a little bit disheveled, but even looking up at that wall, you can see that they're sticking out in all these different delicate manners, and I bet you there was a lot of dropped pieces and reshoots before he managed to get something that looked quite this good. If you want to see excellent photo composition, then Lego Nuts is probably one of the lead guys that sets up absolutely stunning scenes using Lego bricks. We're getting into the last three. There is no real order of best to worst. I just kind of talk about things in an order that I feel like is fun, and now we are checking out First Order Lego. Currently, this is my personal favorite Lego builder that is putting together Star Wars dioramas. In this Laceropes city, or Laceropes city, shows off a lot of excellent details in every corner that you look. I feel like this may be a signature style of this particular builder, but the road has been set by just loose Technic axle pieces, which is similar to the last time he did Yavin, yet entirely different stylistically. The buildings all have their own distinct color, yet they're all completely faded away, so you can see that this was once a very vibrant city that has been plagued by destruction and war. That's highlighted by the extremely bright colors we get for the natural trees that are growing, and then subsequently we have a battle that is currently ensuing in the main road. This model was built a while ago, but I hadn't decided to feature it until just now. Most of the time I try to find builds that were made within the last week, but hey, sometimes I like to jump back a little bit. Now, coming from the designer hellboy.lego, we've got a very well-rounded and encapsulating diorama called The Forgotten Mines. So what we're looking at isn't necessarily a scene directly from the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit series, but of course it's built within that universe, and I just love the combination of all the different slope pieces that are used to make the rock formations, the towering rock spires that kind of come out into the center with the walls growing up and around the top of the diorama, just like makes this whole thing feel very, very encapsulating like a cave. And then the combination of all the different bar clips used to show the extremely shoddy and delicate woodwork that makes up the walkways just kind of captures the grungy and sloppy and chaotic nature of the orcs that lie beneath. Now, jumping into the last build of the week, this one also, like the first build I showed, was immediately recognizable to me. We have Master Yupa, built by Eero Okkonen. This is a character from Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. That's another Miyazaki film. And specifically in the description, this is a stance or a frame that you see Master Yupa jumping up with both a sword and a dagger. It's actually from the manga, but I believe this pose was adapted perfectly, or nearly perfectly, also within the movie. So I might be looking at this a little bit with nostalgia goggles because I really like the character here, but that doesn't also mean that the build quality is absolutely excellent for this guy. You can see his eyes have been shrouded. The barrel piece that makes up the top of the hat is really, really nice. And this is probably my favorite build for a flowing cape. It's completely brick built. You don't see any Technic pieces being used for details, which often you can see for a figure-based build like this, but this all is pretty much just solid Lego system bricks, and the pose here just looks so full of energy. Eero Okkonen is an excellent designer. If you want to see some awesome character figure builds built in a larger scale, this is definitely one of the guys to check out. And that is going to be it for the top 10 MOCs of the week. Remember to check out the description below. You can click on the link to the web store if that's what you're interested in, but also just check out the builders that we've been featuring in this last episode. If you've stuck around to the end, thank you so much. If you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.